introduce myself. I am Dahlia Darmayanti, but I usually go by Lily, so you can call me Lily. Again with Pak Kim, yeah. I usually teach together with him for the global environment, as well as some marketing courses, like international marketing, services marketing, marketing management. So, might probably next semester, you will see me on the marketing management classes. Okay. So, I think last time you haven't know each other. I mean, especially the one in the class. Yeah, I don't know. Can you maybe tell your name and then where are you from? Maybe your high school. From the back, please. Yes. Can you?
My name is
Sally. Sally from?
High School.
Beka High School. Okay. What about you?
My name is Belle. I'm from abroad.
There?
Yes.
From?
Abroad.
Abroad? Where are you from?
Qatar.
Oh, from Qatar. Okay. Assalamualaikum. Okay. What brings you here?
Uni. Uni.
Uni. The uni. Oh, okay. But your family is still in Qatar. Oh, okay. Oh, we have to call it Qatari, right?
Qatari.
Qatari. Right. There.
Belle.
There.
Yes.
Okay. What about you?
My name is Jennifer. I'm from
Oh,
my school.
okay. Jennifer. I'm trying actually to memorize it one by one here. And then what about you? Kathleen. Kathleen, Jennifer, Sally. You?
My name is Kara.
Tara.
Yeah, from Turkey. I'm from Pondok Raffles.
Oh, right, yeah. You live in Pondok Oh, come on. That's I know. I live also in the area as well. So, okay, what about you? Yeah. Sampurna Academy, okay. The one in Panjaran, right? Okay. What about you?
My name is I'm from Smoking Mountain.
Okay, Irene.
My name is Kyla. I'm from high school.
From high school? Oh, the one in TBS Matupang. Okay, great. Yeah, so we only have like 2, 5, 8. Supposed to have 11, right, in here, yeah? Okay, no, I know actually some of you guys in here in the class, yeah, but I'm very sorry that the one that maybe in at home online, well, I know later on your name, right? But this one, so I think I better invite. I think we have 5 groups last time, right? Invite to present a little bit in regards the company that you might probably indicate that they are a national company. Okay, maybe I would like to invite the group 1 first. Do you guys ready for this your presentation? Which one is the group 1? Okay. Hold on. 2 days ago, I think I have. Or maybe better, one in here, your group, who is going to present your groups? Group 1.
Me?
Caroline.
I think we'll be not, but I'm not sure.
Do you have the slides?
Yes.
Yeah, you are in the same group? Okay. So I can have one of you guys as a host. Then after that you can present from there. It's okay. Yeah, let's try. Okay, yeah. Your name is. You can also do this one. People in the Gordon, can you come here? Can you help me? Which one you are care? Alvin? Sorry, yeah. Okay. Karen. Should be there, I can put you as a
No, the slide is not working.
what is
Oh, yeah, the slides?
it's- oh,
Yeah.
why cannot I put you guys as the siapa itu James Wong?
I don't know.
Yes, James. Hi, James. LS, Mbak Kartika. Hello.
Ya, Bu.
I have the slides.
And
Okay. Saya mau assign beberapa student menjadi co-host, bisa kan?
Boleh, Bu. Siapa aja, Bu? Bisa saya bantu?
Ya, bentar ya. Ini nanti satu di sini. Tapi saya nggak bisa dari sini, ya kan?
Atau host saya pindah ke Ibu gimana?
Ya, I think better. You change the problem.
Okay.
The host to be this.
Oke, wait ya, Bu. Sudah ya, Ibu Lili.
You. Come. You sit somewhere in front. Yeah. That's good. The second group, who has the slide that might probably in here, I can also assign as a co-host. Second group, none of you in here. And actually start when we have a class on the 21st come. Some of this screenshot of you. Okay. So the first group is Clarine,
But it's not opening.
Hans Hiawata, Ismi, James, Nicholas, Omar, Sally, Srikandi, Vedanta.
oh, that's fine.
Okay, that is your edit. Okay, so where is the PPT? Sally? No problem. I call the first group and then the other group, you can also prepare it. Sally, yeah? Okay, so can I put you as a co-host so you can upload the screen? Yeah? Okay, let me call again. Yeah. Group number 1, which is group 1, Clarin, Hans, Hassan, Ismi, James Wong, Nicholas, Anwar, Sally, Kandi, and Vidanta. And the room 2 or the group 2 is Farhan, Furqan, Janice, Jennifer, and Rafi. Yeah. And also Rico. Okay. And then group 3 is Rahatan, Brian, Dafa, Enrico, Gilbert, Herviandana, Kaila, and hold on. And hold on. Hold on. You are in the first group atau anyone? Okay, third group again is Gilbert, Kamra, Herviandra, Kaila, Mandy, and Kalisa. The fourth group is Abrar, Cassandra, Sherlyn, Diane, Evelyn, Farhan, Jocelyn, Calvin, Rafael. And the last group is Aya, Akira, Erin, Gilbert, Karim, Christian, and Davina, Margaret, Salsabila, and Siti Karinisa, and Panya. Okay. You are in the
Group 1.
group 1.
Yeah.
Group 1 or group 5? Karim, kan?
Yeah.
Group 5.
5, yeah. That's
No
5.
problem,
Oh,
no
that's
problem. Yeah,
Oh.
let him first. Okay, so group at the group 1.
I think Sally wants to go first.
Is it okay, Sally?
Sally, I insist.
No, we are not start from
Karen.
okay. Can you try?
No, this is my laptop. Give host to Bell.
Bell.
Yeah, Bell.
Coba Bell. Mana Bell?
I think I needed the Salsabila.
Salsabila.
Yes.
Why your nickname is Bell? This is the one, right?
Yeah.
Salsabila. Yeah. Okay. Okay, type the.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You can move your share screen.
Yep.
Come. Yes. So you want to here? Oh no, over there, yeah, because you can put the. It's the big screen.
No, it's okay. He has my laptop.
Oh, okay. Right. So. Oh, Carrie has the laptop. So Carrie, you can stand in here,
Yes.
and then we hear about the sample.
Okay. Welcome to my group's international business presentation. Me, Belle, Vanya, Lavina, Aisha, Alia, Erin, Margaret, me, Chris, Gilbert. 11 people for 5 slides. We chose Sampurna. Sampurna is a tobacco industry, more well known for their cigarettes. So the reason why we chose Sampurna is because we thought, oh, it's unique. I don't think anyone will choose a brand like this. And it's Indonesian. It's an Indonesian brand owned by a Swiss American company named Philip Morris. Thank you. Philip Morris. And some of you may know Marlboro and Sampurna, let's say. And you would think they're different brands competitors, but they're all owned under the same company. The more you know. I didn't even know that. So this is the country of origin, which is Indonesia. It was the first business in Indonesia that manufactured and marketed handheld Kretek cigarettes. Kretek is cloves, if you guys didn't know. Okay.
Who smoked in this class?
You don't ask that question to me.
I'm not kidding, but I'm just asking, who knows in this class and all the What did you
I
happen?
learned the words from my dad.
What? What did you say, Mika?
Keep going.
So this is the history of Sampurna. It was started by, I don't know how to say his name, so I'm sorry if I butcher it. Leon Sang T started handheld critic cigarette production branded as Oji Samsoy in 1913, right? And it goes 1930, 1956, 19. These are the times where all the achievements happen. See, Philip Morris International acquired majority of stake in Sampurna that formed Philip Morris Indonesia. So this shows that they are a foreign direct investment. So more than 90% of their shares were bought by Philip Morris from a foreign investor through the purchase of public shares. Right? So there's this quote here: reason for long-term investment by them. Right? We believe that there is a great potential for Kretek exports from Marlboro, Indonesia. Indonesia will be an export hub for the Asia Pacific in the years to come. Said by Paul Janelle. So this is the process of how they make their clove cigarettes. So it's the raw materials. Like they have their own farms, and then they process it. They have like a big factory with people of labor who just hand machine it, hand make it, or there's also some cigarettes where it's machine made. So it's 50-50. And that's the type. So these are some of their top achievements. So they're a top employer of Indonesia in 2021, donating 79 billion for COVID 2020, which is insane. That's a lot of money. Asia Responsible Enterprise Award 2020. So those are some of the awards. These are the links to the sources.
All right. Well, thank
All
you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for paying attention.
It's like I'm from Sampurna. We had a field trip to the Sampurna, like the building, the SSS, Sampurna Strategic Square.
In Sampurna Strategic Square, yes.
And then like they explained a lot about the company. It's mainly run by Philip Morris now,
Mhm.
and they actually started a foundation. So like they're mainly in like primary resources. So like they buy land, they have trees and stuff. I'm not 100% sure what they do now.
Mhm.
We get the dad, when he passed it down to his son, he started a school. That's why we have some.
Oh, I did find out that.
Yeah, so it's like a family business basically, right? It's from the family business, cigarette business, but right now they are expanding.
So do they give cigarettes to the kids in the school?
Yeah, they are not just only right now for the cigarette only, but right now they are also have the foundation, they have the schools, right? In kita bilangnya di apa part Siemens in Pancoran. Yeah, they also have the schools, and I do not know. Maybe they later on have the what is it, hospital as well. I do not know, because when you take a look at the if you know like Lipo Group, right? Lipo Group in here in Indonesia, right? Is I think started with the land development, building, support. Then right now they have the Universitas Pelita Harapan. They also have the Siloam Semanggi. That is actually
That's owner
their owner of the Lipo as well. Yeah, so it can be diversification of the company itself, no? Yeah. So it can be like that basically. Astra is also, yeah, have the bank as well. They also have the car, yeah, of course. And then also they invest in the road as well. Yeah, so it can be the case like that. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So you know, right? When you smoke, yeah, whatever lah. When you smoke, then you have to know the brand as well, right? Sampurna as well as what is it? Marlboro. I think you know Marlboro, right? Quite famous, yeah, Philip Morris. But right now they are also do the is it acquisition of the Sampurna or they do some here?
Sorry,
Do they do acquisition of the Sampurna?
sorry, I don't understand what please.
I mean, the Philip Morris bought some of the share of the Sampurna.
Yes, they bought.
They bought.
Yeah. They bought 90%.
I do have a question in here. The Philip Morris bought a Sampurna in here, right? But they don't change the brand, right? They just keep the brand. Do you know why? Monopoly. What else? Can you maybe explore why you think that this is monopoly?
It's the Morris is buying up most of the cigarette companies.
You mean the Philip Morris, right? Yeah, okay. But when they acquisition or they are take over a company, for instance, like Sampurna, and the Sampurna have, what is the brand of the Sampurna? The cigarette. Sampurna, and then what? I think Jisamsu, right? Jisamsu, Marlboro, yeah. So why they just keep the same brand? They don't change.
I think it's like a tactic but I think it's a tactic to make it seem like it's a different brand and there's competitive, but there's no competition at all. So it's a marketing strategy maybe.
They have the they have the Marlboro, they also have the Jisamsu, they also have the Sampurna, okay? Yes, I'm sorry, I forget your name. It's just only 5 minutes, but I forget it. Do you want to say something? No. Oh, okay. So why they still keep the brand name? For instance, like Philip Morris acquisition, the Sampurna, but they still keep the brand, some brand of Sampurna. Why they still keep that? Next, the most selling. It is selling. It's already being known, right? In here. So rather than maybe they change the name, they just keep the brand. Some of it is actually like that, but some maybe in the case like the bank, yeah. If you know, if you take a look at the what is it? Main bank. Sometimes, yeah, when we do the joint venture, they also use the name of the two joint ventures or the two partners. Yeah, like Sumitomo Niaga last time. Sumitomo is having a bank in here, Bank Niaga, CIMB Niaga. You know CIMB Niaga, the bank in here? Yeah. So it belongs to CIMB, right? A lot of shares belong to CIMB, but they still keep the Niaga names as well. Yeah. So they usually keep the brand because the brand already well known, and that is true that they have a several, product line in this case. The brand Marlboro, the price may be higher, yeah, higher than the Samsung or not? The Marlboro higher the price, yeah. Marlboro is higher, yeah. The Samsung. Di Samsu. Do you know di Samsu? Ah, the one in your mana PPT tadi.
Oh yeah.
When you do the process.
Oh yeah. What about it?
2, 3, 4, jiwaku masuk surga. That is what we call it. Can you show the process? Sana, masih bisa kan?
That's from.
Yeah.
Share your screen.
Can you do the process? Can you put the slide the process in here? Yep. And then you do you move to the process. I think you do the process. I think this one. Yeah. This is the one, what we call it the Samsung. Maybe some of you know this one, right? Yeah. So what about the price? Samsung and Marlboro. Marlboro is higher. What about the Sampurna itself? It's in between? Yeah. So why? They have the Marlboro, they have the Sampurna, they have the Samsung. Why they have to have all these three brands? Maybe different market.
Yeah, to open variety, it allows them to dominate the market more.
It's different market. Yeah, a little bit about the market. I think you have to know that market is actually so big, right? And then they have a various kind of like people, like various what do you call it? Various interests as well. So some people maybe like the Marlboro, some people maybe like this one, the crackback, yeah, and then the price is also affordable for them. Some people are actually in the middle. So that is a strategy for the company that they are trying to gain the market share by having several differences of the brand that they have it in the market. Yeah, something like that. Okay, but for the international business, I think you mentioned about this one, right? Foreign direct investment.
Yeah, or
Right? So they have in here, what do you call it? The plantation as well as the process in here, yeah, because they maybe thinks about the big market is possible that they do the foreign direct investment.
Yeah.
And then in here we do have the raw material, so it's not really very difficult actually to move and to make the product. Okay. Okay. Any questions about the Sampurna? No question? Okay. Thanks a lot. And then I invite the second group. Second group, maybe Sally group, yeah?
Nanti aku dulu ada.
So where are you right now in here? Supposed to be S or maybe.
Oh, I'm already.
Okay, okay, yeah, you are already co-host here. Yeah? Okay.
Omar and Vedanta, can you guys hear the presentation?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. Start. Yeah, just start the pop-up.
Wants to. So you are not. Oh, not now. But you are the one that handling the slide. Okay. So Nike group, please.
Hello. Good morning to my fellow teachers and colleagues. My name is Vedanta, and this is my friend Omar. And
Hello.
we'll be presenting for Group 1 today. The topic I'm discussing today is about Nike. Nike Incorporated is an American multinational corporation that is engaged in the design, development, manufacturing, and worldwide marketing and sales of footwear, apparel, equipment, accessories, and services. The company is headquartered near Beaverton, Oregon, in the Portland metropolitan area. It's the world's largest supplier of athletic shoes and apparel and a major manufacturer of sports equipment. The company was founded on January 25th, 1964 as Blue Ribbon Sports by Bill Bowerman and Phil Knight, and officially became Nike Incorporated on May 30, 1971. The company takes its name from Nike, the Greek goddess of victory. Next slide, please. Yeah. By the 1990s and 2000s, American and European teenagers associated with the preppy or popular clique began combining the streetwear as their popular fashion. From the late 2000s into the 2010s, Nike's elite basketball socks began to be worn as everyday clothes by hip-hop fans and young children. Originally, plain white or black, these socks had special shock-absorbing cushioning in the sole, plus a moisture-wicking upper weave. Nike produces a wide range of sports equipment and apparel. Their first products were track running shoes. Nike's range of products includes shoes, jerseys, shorts, cleats, base layers, etc. For sports activities such as association football, basketball, track and field, combat sport, tennis, American football, athletics, golf, ice hockey, and cross-training for men, women, and children. Nike also sells shoes for activities such as skateboarding, baseball, cycling, volleyball, wrestling, cheerleading, lacrosse, cricket, aquatic activities, auto racing, and other athletic and recreational uses.
Okay, so as you all may know, the Nike is a very well multinational company which engage in most modes of international business. There are three modes of international business, and now I will explain to you them one by one. So the first thing would be franchising. So these days, Nike really works with franchise. Instead, the company allows retailers to sell its product Nike Marketplace Partner Program. A Nike Marketplace partner, on the other hand, doesn't own a Nike store. Instead, these entrepreneurs own a unique physical or a digital retail businesses and sell Nike products within that store. These resellers don't have to pay franchise fees or percentages of their product sales to Nike. This form of franchising is everywhere, not just in Nike's brand. Charities want you to feel sympathy in their ads, chocolate companies want you to feel hungry, and loan companies want you to feel supported and aware. So because through their global franchising, there's a big impact on global so that people can find Nike internationally. So Nike products are actually manufactured across 41 countries with their help of 533 factories and 1.1 million workers. And as late of 2019, Nike had over 1,100 retail stores and outlets worldwide. They also distribute to thousands of third-party resellers. So there's a huge importance for Nike to be able to produce enough goods for their distribution channel and to maintain their overall global retail strategy with the leading manufacturing countries, which are China, Vietnam, Thailand, and our country, Indonesia. And some interesting fact about the company would be right now, Nike offers a new type of service where they refurbish customer use sneaker. And also Nike are starting to implement a week-long break to their workers in their Oregon headquarters to avoid burnout and to distress. And on that final note, that concludes my presentation. I would like to thank you for your interest and attention.
Okay, thank you. Do you mind to go to the last slide, please? So what they offer, this one, yeah, refurbished customer use sneakers, as well as this one, long break for the workers, right? Perfect. Okay, thanks. I forget. Pick up to there. Is there any Nike group in this class? Okay. So I just want to know, guys, in the group, why you pick up Nike? Why choose Nike? Sally can also, and then others of your group. Sally, maybe you can share.
I think we should Nike because also my members find it more interesting.
Know the brand.
Yes.
Do they use it?
Yeah. And I also use Nike.
Nike as well. Okay. But before this, do you know that Nike is originally coming from the United States?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So because Nike is quite well known, so people knows about that. Okay. So when we talk about Nike in here, it's something that a little bit different than the Sampurna, of course, right? Even though they are actually a product. If you take a look in here, they are the ones that do the design, yeah, in here. And then what else? Can you go to the slide, the one with design? Sorry, they do design maybe before this one. Okay, this one. Okay, yeah. Can you see me from here? Okay, yeah. So this one, they do the design, they do the development.
See your arm. That side.
This one? Better? Okay. So just my arm is just my fingers. So they do the design, they do the development. But when we talk about the manufacturing, where they are going, they go to China, they go to Indonesia, they go to the Thailand, they also go to Vietnam, India. Yeah. Do you know why? They go to the other places, they do some of the what we call it in here. Sources.
Lower labor costs.
Lower labor cost. Anything? Siapa kamu? Aku lupa nama kamu. Farhan. Why? Besides maybe low labor cost. More demand overseas. More demand overseas. Okay. Can I ask Farhan also? Demand overseas, yes. I go back to you again later on. Why they go to like China, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia? Yes, lower labor cost these days. Yeah, maybe China is not anymore right now. Cost of production, yeah, that is two different things. The other one is go to worker. The other one is the cost production. Because maybe it is lower cost of the labor, then the cost of production might probably going to be lower as well.
It's also main hubs for shipping. They're close. They're like in the middle of Asia, so
that is going to be very easy for spreading out in Asia because what? The cost of shipment is lower than you have to go from Europe all the way down to Asia. Correct. That is also related to the demand because in Asia, if you take a look here, China, Indonesia, and India, for instance, yeah, we are already a big population, right? So the demand is also high. So it's kind of like logic that they have some of the factory in here, yeah, to also provide the goods in Indonesia or the other stuff. Well, do you want to say something?
I was about to add that the laws are also more lenient.
Sorry, what is the convenient? I have to go to you.
I just said the laws are also more lenient.
More lenient.
Lenient.
The law.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some of them is quite lenient, yeah. But maybe can you maybe give some of the explanation? What do you mean by the lenient in here? And then maybe which country that you think that it is lenient?
I'm specific to workers in factories from my understanding.
Mhm.
Workers in China
might probably in some of the country is much more lenient. Yeah,
Yes, like their working conditions are good.
working condition, okay. Yeah. The thing is, yeah, that might probably true for that one. But if we talk about the workers in here, yeah, in China, yeah, right now they also think that if the foreign, like foreign product, like maybe Nike, and then they are not paying or paying a good, not a good, but they do have the regulation regarding the worker has to be paid and so forth, right? And then if it is not really meet what their expectation, or they also hire a child worker, right? The society over there is not really happy, and then they are not going to buying the Nike product. In China, I don't think that it goes to Nike, but I forget what is the brand. In China right now, they are also much more love the young people. Yeah, when I read the article, they are much more appreciate the local one, the local brand, rather than the foreign brand.
Yes, that's what my friends said as well. They're very proud of their own, own products and stuff. Like even with the social media, they have their own, like WeChat. They mainly use that one instead of WhatsApp and stuff. Like very.
Baidu, right? Because it's a very huge country, and then there are.
But I also think that's because government bans everything there, so they don't have a choice. to do it.
That's also the case.
Well, the government, I think you have a correct answer as well. The government would like to control, basically, right? Control the information, and then, but the infrastructure of them, when they do the control, they also, make the infrastructure actually good as well. Like so they don't. Okay, we don't really bother. We cannot maybe go to Google, but we can do it. But the thing is, if really relating to the product, I know you are right that a lot of like young people over there much more appreciated with the local brand. And then this is something that the foreign brand has to be cautious about this one, because it was not happen in the maybe like 10 or 20 years ago. People in China, maybe not young people, but like middle age, they really love their foreign product, branded product. But right now, the young people, they really appreciate the local product. Yeah. So I think the foreign brand has to think about this kind of shifting of the interest of the consumer behavior in China. I do not know in Indonesia, how do you feel, guys, when you are exposed with the local brand? Say the fashion, it's usually the fashion, right, for this one. How do you feel, guys? Do you still, look for the foreign brand, or you are right now starting to appreciate the local brand? The local brand, the local brand in.
They're actually thriving like any for example.
Sorry?
They're actually thriving the local products.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like for example, they go overseas.
There you go, the one
They
in
started pretty small.
in New York, right? There you go, right? And then what else? It's usually the fashion, yeah, right now, yeah. Apparel and the
So
cosmetic.
the cafe, I don't know if it's Kopi Kenanga or the Kilo, there's a lot of foreign direct investment, like millions of dollars.
This is coming from the startup coming, and yeah, they are pouring the money, because again, Indonesia is a big country, Then it is not just only concentrate in Jakarta. Jakarta will be saturated later on. Then they have to go to other cities, perhaps. And how do they do it? Franchising? Yeah. Franchising possible, like Kopi Kenangan. Do you know Tuku?
Yeah.
But Tuku, I think, is still in Jakarta, yeah? In Jakarta, but maybe Kopi Kenangan, Janji Jiwa, maybe they already not in Jakarta anymore.
I don't know if they're overseas yet, but I know they're airport. maybe they're opening in like other, like Malay. Or India.
Can you try maybe to Google whether they are already overseas? I don't think so, but kopi kenangan coba, kopi kenangan. So while at home, can you also help to take a look at the kopi kenangan, whether they already do overseas or they are just in Indonesia still?
They want to.
You want to go to the restroom? Please go.
Yeah, it says they want to expand.
Yeah, or Southeast Asia. And Southeast Asia.
They might probably have the plan to go overseas, Southeast Asia, and also maybe India.
Yeah, they got a $695 million investment fund.
Yeah. Because the investors see that the what is it, the growth are there. Do they already have in some of the cities in Indonesia?
Oh, yeah, they're also in the airport.
Because maybe they do the franchising in this case. Yeah. That's why kopi kenangan is quite rapid, I guess. Yeah. They are trying to expand and then also expand and the market share for sure. Tuku, maybe they do have a different kind of strategy. Do you guys know Tuku, right?
Yeah.
Have already tried Tuku?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where about when you are trying Tuku?
It's near my house in Convention.
Where in Jalan Surya atau
In Bintaro.
oh in Bintaro?
I tried mine when I was looking at that.
Bintaro as well. Others?
I think they're usually beside the what do you call it? The gas station.
Yeah.
BP.
In Bintaro?
There's a gas station company now, that is.
I know the one there in
The,
Santa.
the green one, the green one. The green one.
Oh, the great.
BP. Yeah, British Petroleum.
I'm sure there's like some
Oh,
sort
yeah,
of like
really?
similar ownership or something to that.
But they have in South Jakarta, like multiple.
And the one in Cipete, in South Jakarta, I think that one maybe.
There's Pasar Santa.
Pasar Santa, you know Pasar Santa? My childhood actually in Pasar Santa. So maybe they have that one is for when I go to the shop in Pasar Santa, yeah, I think that one is much more for the delivery because Pasar Santa is not really maybe not really expensive perhaps, yeah, compared when you are putting that one in the mall, yeah, like a fancy one. So it's much more maybe for the delivery. We don't have the one that we can sit over there. Yeah, but the one in Bintaro, how is it? I never seen the one in Bintaro. Can you see?
I think also it's like for delivery.
Delivery as well, yeah.
Or like just pick it up.
But the one in Cipete, they still have some chairs actually, yeah. But right now it's a lot of like Gojek over there because people sitting there. Okay.
Before pandemic, what I noticed about control is they compared to economic, it was more like casual and like you come there to sit and then eventually spend more. Right? I think that's the difference between the strategies because public economics is more like efficiency and like they want you to buy coffee, they go do your day. Items.
So maybe different strategy as well. Okay, good. Okay, what we learn again in here, yeah. I just want to stress that this one is more to the design development. So it can be the case that you have a company here, then you do the design, but because the development, innovation can do that one. But because when you do the production, yeah, to produce is a lot of money, because maybe the workers, maybe also the policy of the government and so forth. Then you can take a look at others' countries, yeah. And then you can think about, okay, I better maybe put it here, this country because the market surrounded here is very close, right? Shipment costs and so forth. Okay, basically like that also. This is much more on the Asian countries. But can you maybe think as well that sometimes the our source country is not just only in Asia. Usually others in Asia, maybe not Nike, but if you ladies at a Zara, yeah, India possible, that is Asia. But what about others continent of Asia? So this one is much more in Asia, right? When you do outsource. Zara came from Spain, right? But they also do some of the outsource, like in some of the African countries. Yeah.
Can you please explain on outsourcing? If we can access about outsourcing.
Outsourcing. Okay. The outsourcing, very short and like this. Okay. You do have design, for instance, right? You have, and then you want to produce it, something, right? For instance, that you are American company, but you think that to produce in the United States is quite expensive, right? So what you can do, you go to Mexico, for instance, because it's very close to the border of the United States, right? You go to Mexico. Okay, let's say that you want to design the shoes, for instance. You go to Mexico, then you find a factory that possible to make shoes like what you are designed and what you want to do, what you are designed and maybe the raw material and so forth. Then you ask the factory in Mexico to make it for you. That is the outsource. But the brand is still your brand.
Yeah.
That is the thing.
The question was other places Zara outsources from, but from Asia still.
Still, is Zara, if you buy.
Turkey. Zara outsourced from Turkey.
Turkey as well, yeah. In Asia as well, like Vietnam, Cambodia, right?
Yeah.
And Sri Lanka, right? Yeah. Indonesia as well. Sometimes when you go to Zara and then when you want to buy something, it's made in Indonesia. It's possible as well. You want to say something?
Yeah. The tulisannya is going to be made in your own country or the factory country?
Sorry. Made in.
Yeah.
Okay. When we talk about made in here, yeah, it's about country origin. It's very related to the country origin. Usually the made in is the country that you are in Indonesia, for instance, the one that you make it Indonesia. But it doesn't mean the country of origin is Indonesia. You know what I mean? Like Zara again. The country of origin Zara is actually, what is it? Spain. Yeah, but sometimes when you buy the clothes, it's made in Indonesia. You go to IKEA. Who ever go to IKEA? Right? IKEA in here, kan? Or IKEA maybe overseas, right? Okay. You know what country of origin of IKEA is? Sweden. Yeah, Sweden. But when you buy the IKEA, there's a lot of made in, kan? Made in Indonesia, made in Polandia, made in. They also do the outsource in the eastern part of Europe. Yeah, because again, cheap labor, right? And then it's that's maybe for the consumption of the European continent. Yeah, that's much more on the eastern part of Europe. Okay, so can we go to the third group? Siapa? Third group. Oh, we want to go to the rest. Okay, the third group. Let me.
Actually, all of the members want to present for
Like, so how we did it is we split everything to everybody, like the presentation itself. We all gave each other a role, which we speak on. That's okay.
Okay, but who is going to be the host in here? The one that what is it? Share the screen.
Oh, sure. It's that's free. That's free.
Right?
That's free.
Have free and done that. Have free. Are you there? Oh, wow. It's different.
Davidson.
Should we start now?
Oh, this one, Adidas, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, start right. Can you see the presentation in the middle? Okay, I'm.
I will do the intro first. Good morning, everybody. Wait. Before we start, I will introduce my group. There are Benetton, Brian, Dava, Gilbert, Kyla, Melissa, Enrico, and me, Herpriandana. Today, our group will present about Adidas. Everybody know Adidas, right? Adidas is a German multi-international corporation, a big brand, and also a German manufacturer of athletic shoes and apparel, sporting goods. To understand the history of Adidas and lots information about Adidas, my group will present it. Thank you.
Adidas is founded in 1964 by Adolf Adi Dassler and his brother Rudolf Dassler in Herzogenaurach, Germany. The company was previously named Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory, which later split up between the brothers into Adidas and Puma, which is founded by Rudolf Dassler.
The Dashlers were famous for their spiked running shoes. Even though the spiked running shoes were created by the British used metal spikes on the shoes. While the Dashlers in Germany, they experimented using rubber and canvas to make the shoes lighter and to make the shoes less bulky. This was one of their most revolutionary transitions. Next.
Alright. So Adidas uses a type of franchising called product franchising / hard franchising model. So what this means is, if you're going to make a franchise, it has to look exactly like how a normal Adidas store would look like. And in every country, there's always a couple franchises and a couple Adidas owned stores. Yeah, and then I'm going to explain the requirements.
Hello, I'm Ben. I will be explaining what kind of requirements to be part of Adidas franchise. And I will be dividing into two main sections, which is required investment and infrastructure requirements. We'll start off with required investment. To be part of Adidas franchise, you may need at least 30 to 60,000 US dollars, which will include the cost of franchise deposit, furniture and fixture for the store, and decorations as well to meet their global standards of their store, so that we won't notice if it's a franchise or not. And for the return of investment, it still depends on the franchise owner themselves on how they run their store based on their efforts and capabilities. But it is expected to have roughly 15% of returns after their first few years of operation. For the infrastructure requirements, the franchise store will need it to be located in main market area, a posh commercial area, such as shopping malls, which definitely has the potential to attract buyers. Also, Adidas highly suggests that the space of the franchise store should be at least 1,000 to 1,500 square feet big. So that's it for me, and for the next part, I'll have somebody to explain it.
Hi, I'm Brian. I'm going to be explaining the foreign direct investment. To begin with, Adidas is the first ever multinational company that is allowed to open foreign direct investment stores in India. However, it took Adidas 3 years to receive a nod from the government. Furthermore, managing director of Adidas India also mentioned that company-owned retail stores will give a higher market leadership position, thus explaining that a foreign direct investment is an important factor for a multinational company. Next slide, please.
The purpose of Adidas licenses are to keep track and verify activity of their approved supply chains, in particular to make sure the activities that are happening sticks to as originally planned. And Adidas annual licensee compliances performance will be measured by using a comprehensive report.
Okay, so Adidas is one of the very few companies that fully discloses their global factory lists and publishes detail, including the name of the location of suppliers in the country. So their primary suppliers, their subcontractors, licensees, and location of where the wet processes such as garment washing, bleaching, and dyeing happen is disclosed.
So as per their international management contract, Adidas has no experience in that, but something to note is that Adidas around the world is a subsidiary, which is a company that is under a mother group. So they all have the same name and like it's called the Adidas Group, but it's underneath the company which is the one based in Germany. So
the iconic Adidas three stripes logo was actually not theirs, but they came from a shoe brand from Finnish called Karhu. Dassler spotted in 1951 and claimed it as theirs. And Adidas' current goal is to be a sustainable product. So they have a goal from 2024 onwards. Adidas will only be using recycled polyester to its product, and there are some products that Adidas has made that came from a recycled marine plastic waste called Parley. Yeah.
Adidas, one more. Adidas is a very consumer-based company, so they really listen to what the consumer has to say. This is based off the original, like the origin of Adidas, which is where they put spikes on the shoes because they wanted, because Adolf Dassler actually noticed a bunch of like athletes slipping on the floor when they would run and when they would play sports. So he thought of the idea to put spikes. That's to make the user or the consumer more comfortable. So that's why they still do that to this very day. They always listen to their consumers.
Okay. Thank you so much for the Adidas. They still produce spikes, right?
They still.
Yes. You know what? When I was a child, when I was like your, you know, when I was in elementary, I joined the athletic club, and then Adidas is the one that my spike shoes is actually Adidas. Then they have like Comet, what they name it, yeah, for the spike shoes is Comet, Titan, kind of like, you know, something that moves very fast speed. I don't think that Puma have the spike. I think Adidas was the one that very famous for the athletic shoes. And up to now that they still produce the spikes, right?
I mean, Puma also makes spikes. They also make spikes, but it's not as popular as Adidas.
What brand?
Puma.
Puma,
They
yeah.
also produce it.
Is that Puma last time? Like probably, yeah. Because when I was a childhood, then Adidas and Puma actually the one that quite famous and for the athletic and also Puma much more on the tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for the athletic is or running, yeah. Last time Nike was not born yet, or maybe Nike there, but still like Adidas and Puma basically.
Was it Nike and Puma, like the two? Was it Nike and Puma or Adidas and Puma, the brothers.
The brother is Adidas and Puma.
Oh,
So
Adidas.
Adidas first, then after that they split.
Split.
So Adidas and the other one the Puma.
Adidas.
Right. Okay. And Adidas, that's very interesting that they find the three stripes basically is coming from Italy, right?
Yeah, they bought
They bought the kind of like the
They
royal.
had a bunch of like they bought a bunch of companies like including Reebok. Reebok was one of the companies they bought, and I forgot the name of the company a while ago, like Murad, or something like that. They actually bought it because they wanted the logo or something like that.
The logo. Okay. So one thing maybe I think for the how they conduct the international, this is almost the same like the Nike one, right? They do the outsource, they also do the foreign direct investment, they do some licensing. But the thing is, this one is very interesting. If you take a look at their how they try to manage the refurbish of the product, the recycle. Yeah, you guys international business, but when you are trying to selling or like marketing something overseas right now, you have to think about the refurbish recycle, because when we talk about the consumer behavior, it's not just only that. Well, how to attract, how to make people aware of the product, and then after they buy, but you have to think about how they are dispose the product. And these kind of things like that, like refurbish, like recycle, some things that the company has to think about it. When you buy the pristine, for instance, when you buy, you go to Starbucks, do they do something for the recycle? Do they do something for the recycle? When you buy pristine, you buy, or maybe what, Aqua is local, it's actually like Nestle. Do they do about the recycle? Do they think about how
I
recycle?
think they did have, but maybe not for long. They were more focused on like giving back to the farmers, like for the local farmers, and they don't promote recycling. No, well, they encourage you to bring your own bottles instead of.
Yeah, they are actually urge you to bring your own bottle, but when you don't bring your own bottle or you don't bring your, what is it, tumbler, right?
Yeah.
Take a look. They also have the plastic, right? The cup, right, is coming from the recycled product. So they have to think about it. Yeah, they have to think about it. Right now, I think in Indonesia, we are, especially in Jakarta, that we are actually educated by you bring your bag, yeah, when you go to the supermarket, because we are trying to eliminate the plastic consumption.
Yeah, they're charging for plastic bags.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. So,
I think they charge way too low for plastic bags. Yeah.
in here.
It's like, wow, you put a 2,000 charge, you know, like.
But right now, when I want to go to supermarket, I always thinking about, oh, where's the, I have to bring my.
Yeah, but I feel like if they want more of an impact, they should just stop providing plastic bag and make it. Some stores do that. I think Fresh or Grand Lucky, they make you buy their
Plastic.
reusable bags.
Yes.
Like in McDonald's, they completely cut out plastic except for when it comes to the drinks, the drinks. So they don't, they force you to buy
They force you to buy the plastic. Yeah, even though if you go to Alfamart, Mart, they still maybe charge you about 2,000, right? Yeah, but if you go to like Rance Market,
Hero, they change it into paper bags.
the Hero, they change to the paper bag. We do have to pay also.
I think only like $200 though.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah. Oh, the paper bag, the brown paper bag kind of things. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, but again, that they are trying actually to educate us as well, that they have like a recycle, like refurbish program for this one, the shoes and so forth. Okay. Can I invite the group 4? Yes. Do you become the host? Tasha. Siapa yang the host yang untuk the slide? Rico. Rico.
Yes. Sally wants to.
Yeah, wanna go to the restroom? Go ahead. Domino pizza. That's not Domino pizza for sure, right?
I'm going to be starting. Good morning, everyone. So today my group and I would be talking about Domino's Pizza, like the world's famous pizza, I guess you can call. So next slide, please. I'm going to be talking about a little bit of the background of Domino's Pizza. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. Okay, so the man you see in this picture, he is Thomas Stephen Mulligan. So he is an American entrepreneur who founded Domino's Pizza in 1960. So it was based on USA, of course. So Domino's is a privately owned company. Domino's, as of the second quarter of 2018, operated a network of 15,000 franchise company-owned stores in the US and over 85 international markets. So more on that. Some facts about pizzas. Domino's actually sells around 3 million pizzas a day, and they started opening their franchise on 1967, Michigan. So Domino's has their famous 30-minute guarantee, where if they fail to bring you the pizza in 30 minutes, they won't charge it. So basically, you get pizza for free. So now, one of my colleagues, Jennifer, would like to talk about the franchise.
I just know that they have like timing. How many
Yeah.
minutes? 20 minutes?
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
Does it apply in here?
Pizza Hut applies.
It's not apply, but the winner is
But yeah.
Okay, we talk about pizza on that.
Okay, so the next one, I would like to discuss about 4 types of franchises. The first one is traditional store. It's like retail outlets in shopping center and offering both dining and also delivery options. And the second one is non-traditional store. It's like it can be found in obvious buildings and other public places. Although some have a few seats, most only over carry out. And the third one is transitional store. It's like a similar to a small market or specialized menus for a certain clientele, and they may begin as carry out only stores. But once the market has proven itself, they may shift to a typical store. And the last is license issuing. Are places like stadiums or institutions where authorities require license authorization. So Domino's provide high quality training to restrain owners so they can run the business smoothly, and they teach customers to handling the soft skills. Next.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Janice. Okay, for this slide, since we know that Domino's is an international franchisor, here we have a glimpse of the startup cost of a Domino's franchise business in the US. The estimate initial investment is around $120,000 to $461,700, and then liquid cash requirement is we need a minimum of $75,000, franchise fee of $25,000, and franchisees will also have to pay a royalty fee and ad fund. For royalty fee, that is the commission that franchisees have to pay to franchisors to extend the franchise agreement. So this fee is usually paid out of gross sales that would be earned after the franchise is established, and the percentage ranges from 4 to 9%, but for Domino's it is around 5.5%. For the ad fund, we pay around 3% out of the gross sales as well. So this fee has to be paid by franchisees for items related to advertising and promotion of a brand, such as TV commercials, brochures, billboards, and etc. So if we are planning to open up a Domino's Pizza franchise, Domino's will provide high quality training to prospective franchise owners so they can run the business efficiently. Training will include teaching them customer handling skills, culinary cooking skills, soft skills, how to achieve a sales target, how to handle a customer, and etc. Before opening up a Domino's franchise, there are a few requirements that are set out by the company. They will include like having the franchisee, they will need previous experience in the F&B sector. They will also need to maintain the right professions and administration control. They should be passionate about Domino's franchise and have a strong desire to grow and be willing to work with other people, as well as have administrative skills and financial skills to operate the business. Okay, for the next slide, I will hand it over to Rafi and Nico.
Okay, hello guys. My name is Rafi. So I'm going to present this particular slide. So interesting fact about Domino's, first of all, is like for the particular Domino's in Indonesia, Domino's Pizza Indonesia is actually handled by MAP, or you may know as Mitra Adi Perkasa, because MAP is actually known for as a whole company where they try to like for any brands that wanted to open up a branch in Indonesia, they will like be the third party to making sure that that particular store can be expanded through a franchise system. And for the exclusive of franchising in Indonesia is actually owned by Domino's, but the consumer like us, if we wanted to franchise Indonesia, we can like contact them and they will like help you on opening up another branch of Domino's in Indonesia. And fun fact, for the first outlet Domino's in Indonesia, it was opened in Pondok Indah. It's basically like near in our place, and it was opened around August 22nd, 2008. And of course, like in this pandemic time, we know that there's a lot of things like health protocol and stuff that make some workers have to be laid off due to money and stuff. But Domino's and Neuro Robotics create an autonomous delivery robot system that is already approved by the U.S. Department of Transportation, as this will going to help in terms of delivering the products, and yeah, it could appeal to the market. And I will pass this to Rico.
Also, Domino's opened its first franchise outside the United States at Winnipeg, Canada in 1983. Also, before 1992, Domino's only served 2 sizes of pizza and only 1 beverages, that is cola or Coca-Cola. And in 1992, they offer breadsticks as the first national non-pizza menu item offered at Domino's. Yeah.
And next slide.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you for listening to our presentation. I hope you like it.
Okay, thanks, Domino Group. So right now, when you go to Domino Pizza, who not yet try Domino Pizza in here? I think you guys already, right? Yeah. Okay, so again, the country of origin of this one is actually United States, and then they are coming to, or they are expanding by doing the franchising. Yeah. Can you guys screen the franchising slide?
That will be from Rico.
Rico, do you mind the franchising slide, please? Yeah, okay. It's not yet.
I think it's the next slide.
Yeah, I want this one. Okay, so here is actually the franchising. Yeah, so you get some of the idea when we want to do the franchising. What we have it in mind. First of all, about the investment, and then second one is about, I want to underline this one: the franchise fee, the royalty fee. Yeah, because you when you use the brand, yeah, do you understand what the royalty fee? In this case, you understand, guys?
Royalty fee.
This one? The franchise fee is when you want to do a franchise.
Money that gets cut from your revenue.
Yes, it's usually coming from the revenue. They would like to get some of the percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just only the franchise fee at maybe the first place, yeah, when you want to do the the franchise or start the business, but this is some things that you have to pay But again, in the contract, maybe the first 3 years, the first 5 years, probably, or when you have this one, yeah. And then this is the one, and then you have to take a look about the training. They will do the training, yeah. Here, maybe we want to what is it? Differentiate a little bit, perhaps from the this one is more to the service, the F&B and the product. But they will do the training in here. Like the training is, yeah, of course, for the F&B here, how to make the pizza, in which that the taste would like not so far away from the one, the original from the United States, right? And then after that, the handling skills, culinary cooking, and so forth. Yeah, okay. So when you take a look at this one as well, yeah, Adidas is also do the franchise, right? Adidas Group. Yeah, they also do the franchise, right? Yeah, but in here, they are more emphasizing of what? The store space, yeah? And then what else? Of course, the investment and online. But I'm pretty sure that they also train people in Adidas, the franchisee, how the customer can use it and so forth. So they have more or less the same service. Okay. Any question on the Domino Pizza in here? Handling by what company, guys?
For Indonesia is by MAP, Mitra Adi Perkasa.
I think you already know MAP, kan?
Because
Mitra
MAP
Perkasa.
owns a lot of tenant actually, not just.
So they have what? F&B, also the apparel, kan under MAP apa?
I thought they're like other things, clothing stores.
It's not just only clothing right now. They also have the restaurant. They also have like Domino, this one. Yeah. Previously, it was just only clothing. Yeah, but right now they are also expanding.
Do they own like Sogo or anything?
Sorry?
Do they own Sogo?
I guess so. They also, I mean, Sogo is also under their management as well. Yeah. So this one is enough. Okay. So I'm inviting the last group, please. Kan ada 5 ya? Or 4? 5 groups? I mean,
Yeah, they own Sogo.
they also go. What is under MAP for the banyak kan?
I don't think they own it, but they do some sort of partnership because
They might probably, yeah.
they have like a lot of vouchers with that company.
Maybe in the contract perhaps. Okay. The group 5, Alia, Atira, Erin, Gilbert. Karim, oh, you're already there, yeah? You guys. Udah, there are 4 though. Sorry?
I think my group is being skipped.
Yeah.
Because this one first, and then okay. Your group, sorry ya. Room apa? Kamu sama Farhan tadi sudah. And then group 3 ya. Abrar Cassandra siapa ya?
Alvin, Aura, Ian.
Calvin, Rafael ya.
Yeah.
Ian, Sharon. Okay, sorry. Group 4, please. What is the brand that you are doing? That's Starbucks. Yeah. Okay, so who is going to be the host? That can be
Ian or Dian.
Dian. Oh.
Hello guys, can you guys hear my voice? Hello Miss Lily.
Oh, hi. Yeah, so you already, okay, good that you can share this one.
Can everybody hear my voice? Okay. I think we should be the opening. I mean like the slide opening, not the fun fact.
Starbucks. Okay.
Okay. Okay, everybody. Good. Miss Lily, should I start now? Okay. Okay, everybody. Good morning. Today in this beautiful morning, we're going to talk about the international brand. Well, as you can see, we're going to talk about Starbucks, and you can tell that you can see like the whole group members. So I don't want to like tell you guys the name. You guys can just read it. So me as a university student, I always drink coffee every day, especially during on-site. But sometimes I'm too lazy to make my own coffee and I don't have much time. So usually I just bought it from Starbucks. You know what, guys? Starbucks is a really good coffee, I can tell. But sometimes as a university student, because I'm running out of budget, Starbucks can be very expensive, but it's kind of worth it though. By the way, guys, I love caramel macchiato from Starbucks. Please add to your bucket list and add some additional caramel. It's amazing. Um, so I think everybody has already tried Starbucks, right? If you guys haven't tried Starbucks, well, I suggest you to leave, like get out. What are you doing with your life right now? Oh my God, I'm just joking, guys. So we're going to discuss or even talk more about Starbucks because Starbucks has of a lot of cafe all around the world. It's open like almost like more than 30,000 outlets all around the world. And of course, please keep in mind that Starbucks, when they try to open in a different country, it goes with a different regulars and terms. So the management system can be very different. So it can be FDI, it can be licensing, it can be the franchise or etc. And we will find out more about it. So I will give the next slide to my partners, please.
Okay, hi guys, my name is Rafael. I'm going to explain about Starbucks history. Basically, we divide Starbucks history to three eras, which are the early year, Howard Schultz era, and Starbucks in Indonesia. So the first one, Starbucks was established in 1971 by Jerry Baldwin, Gordon Bowker, and Zev Siegel. Their first store was established near the historical Pike Place Market in Seattle. They focused on selling high-quality coffee bean and coffee equipment. Then in 1980, Starbucks had opened 4 stores in Seattle, and also in that year, one of their founders, Zev Siegel, left Starbucks to pursue his other interests. Next, we move on to Howard Schultz era. In this era, Howard Schultz, who used to be a sales from Swedish company that sells kitchen equipment to Starbucks, joined the company in 1982. He joined the company as a head of marketing. His most affected idea to Starbucks was come in 1983 when he sent to Milan. There he saw that coffee industry is a prospective business since there are a lot of people love coffee. But when he told his idea about turning Starbucks into a national coffee store by rapid store expansion to Baldwin and Booker, his idea was refused. So he left the company and established his own brand called Il Giornale. Short story, he succeeded his own brand and finally bought Starbucks in 1987. And from that moment, Starbucks had grown so fast from only fewer than 20 stores to more than 100 stores. Starbucks expansion didn't stop there, until finally at 1992, Starbucks company went to public. Next, we move on to Starbucks in Indonesia. First Starbucks store in Indonesia was established in 17 May 2002 at Plaza Indonesia under MAP or Mitra Adi Perkasa. And nowadays, Starbucks has more than 400 stores in Indonesia and more than 30,000 stores all over the world. Next.
I will explain the foreign direct investment or FDI. So in 1995, Starbucks was looking for their first international market target. They decided to pick Japan and planning to give them a license to them. But Starbucks then realized if they give Japan a pure license to them, Starbucks wouldn't be able to make sure that Japan is following the company's successful formula. So they decided doing a joining venture with a local retailer in Japan, in which Starbucks holds 50% of the venture and did their first foreign direct investment by investing $10 million to the venture. The Starbucks formula then licensed to the Starbucks Coffee of Japan that would be responsible for expanding Starbucks' presence in Japan. Next.
Starbucks also implement international management for China and India. In China, Starbucks explores strategic partnerships in order to adjust with the local environment in China. This is one of Starbucks strategies in order to keep up with China's advanced technology and e-commerce. Starbucks also plans to establish a locally relevant Starbucks four-place experience in China. And therefore, Starbucks can blend in with the digital space in China. Starbucks has a commitment to take care of the company's partners. So in order to fulfill this commitment, they offer comprehensive health insurance for both full-time and part-time partners. Starbucks also has an ongoing training and developing program at the Starbucks China University. For retail partners, Starbucks started an international talent exchange program in which 16 of their partners actually did this program in Singapore. And therefore they can also develop and also train their skills and knowledge. The company also launched an e-flagship store in Alibaba's Tmall, which is a business to consumer platform. And Starbucks managed to get more than 300,000 customers, becoming the best performing brand in Tmall in food and beverage category.
Next.
In China, which with a target of 3,400 stores by 2019. These reserve stores, specialize in experience stores that have rare and exclusive fine coffees, which are limited globally. These reserve stores are aimed towards capturing a bigger market share in China. In India, Starbucks faces a great competition with other coffee chains. One of them is Cafe Coffee Day. And so far, Starbucks only has 75 branches in India with a partnership with Tata Global Beverages. However, despite having only 75 branches, Starbucks has made it as the fastest growing market in the country. In India, Starbucks also aims to provide customers, especially the growing middle class with higher disposable income customers, with packaged goods, including its signature tea brand called Teavana. And in a tea drinking country like India, Teavana actually managed to boost Starbucks development. And for populated urban areas, the company also brings digital technology to India for mobile orders and purchases, and therefore it prevents long queues.
At the beginning of 2021, there is a total of 32,938 Starbucks retail locations, and about 16,000 to 17,000 of them are licensed. Each store is positioned in highly crowded places, such as in malls, airports, and hotels. So some of you guys may wonder why Starbucks license their stores instead of franchising them. And actually, it is because they want to maintain control over their stores and ensure good quality and quality control. They believe that licensees have a better understanding of the market and therefore can localize products and custom stores based on local customer preferences. The advantage of being a licensee of Starbucks is that not only do they provide support in many aspects of the business operations, including store design, staff training, and equipment installation, but the average Starbucks licensee is said to earn about 120,000 US dollars per year for one outlet, which if you convert it is like 2 million rupiah, which is a lot. And with international licensing, the mission of Starbucks is to introduce the American style coffee shop to all the people in the world. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. You can have it, right? This one
Okay.
is louder.
Okay. And now the consumer analysis. Did you know consumer loyalty can be increased by using a positioning strategy? Yes, in some journal, according to journal that conduct about Starbucks strategy, this strategy have two different. The first one is positioning strategy, and then the second one is demographic strategy. Yes, in positioning strategy, Starbucks has a different of programs. The first program, they selection of outlet location to choose the most of area with upper middle class group to open their outlets. And then the second one, they believe if they do the drive-through marketing strategy, it make easier for consumer to get a copy without having to get off their cars. And then the last one is opening outlets for up to 24 hours non-stop to meet their consumer needs. That's all, and I'll be passed to Abra.
All right, to make it short and simple, like most businesses, Starbucks also has a target demographic that they follow to further help push product and appeal, of course, to their consumers. They mainly follow the following demographics: people who are affluent, or in Latin terms, people who have high income. And the reason being is because they have a habit of spending a lot of money on things that aren't really necessary, but it makes them feel good. And then we also have people who are of the age groups between 25 and 35 years old. However, I do need to mention that this is only an average based off of one source. There are other sources that say Starbucks's target age demographics are mainly adolescents and young adults. But another target demographic that they also consider are individuals that are considered to be workaholics. In other words, people who work a lot and they get stressed very easily. And as you can see from the three images from the top right, and the bottom, they all have one thing in common: the unwillingness to proceed further in life. And that's why Starbucks focus so heavily on these demographics specifically. And at the end of the day, they just really want to provide a good beverage so that everyone can smile as good as the person at the bottom left of the slide. Okay, next one.
So some fun fact about Starbucks is that they offer a scholarship to the employees to the Arizona State University, and they also provide healthcare to the employees. And they spend $300 million annually, and with a lot of customization and modification, and also the secret menu. They have a total of 87,000 drinks combination. They also have their own record label with Concord Music called Heard Music in 2007, and they collaborate with Feeding America to donate their leftovers.
Okay, All right. Can I take a look at the, I think something interesting when you are talking about this one, yeah, the one in India, international, what is it? International management? No, this one, yeah. So if you read this one, so this one is, I think, a good example when Starbucks is entering the Indian market, yeah. You know that some of the countries, they are really proud of their national product, right? And it's very hard for the foreign brand actually goes to their the country. Yeah, it's like the ethnocentrism later on when you are doing the international marketing. Maybe it's just not like Indonesia. We are very welcome with the much more easier. But this one, if you take a look here, right? They have to go with the Tata. Do you know Tata, guys? Have you ever heard about the Tata company? Not yet? It's usually they are in the car or the vehicle, yeah? Not on the beverage, but they have right now in the beverage, and then they are do the joint venture together with Starbucks. Okay, so what about the reserve? You know the Starbucks reserve? Starbucks reserve, if you go to the Sun City, there's a Starbucks reserve in the one with the R.
Starbucks reserve.
Yeah. So they have like the ordinary Starbucks outlet that we are already know before, but they have also reserve in here. Why they do have the reserve in here? Why they do have it? Marketing strategy for what? Have you ever been to the Starbucks reserve one?
No.
Yeah. Do you? The coffee is different, right? And then what? What else? What is the experience that you are, experiencing? If you haven't gone there, so please go to the Science City and then take a look at the reserve, comparing with the ordinary outlet. Okay, the coffee. What else?
More premium.
It's more premium. You can. Sorry. Cookies, yeah, the way. Okay, the one in the online. Have you ever gone to Starbucks Reserve in Jakarta? Anyone? Online? At home? But the one that they make it because they would like to cater a different target segment. The coffee is different. The way that they are also presenting, serving is also different. Yeah, so they do have this one. All right. Any questions so far about what we are doing right now? From the 5 brand or like 5 company that we are sharing today, what do you learn? What thing you do learn? From the Sampurna, Nike, the Adidas, Starbucks, and Domino Pizza?
For direct investment, most of them are FDI.
Most of them may be FDI. What else? Siapa? Saya lupa. What do you learn? The mode of entry, beside the FDI, what is the common one? What is the common one? The common one for entering the market?
Licensing.
Licensing, good. What else?
Franchising.
Franchising, licensing, yeah, foreign direct investment. Okay. What else that besides the mode of entry that you are learning from what we are sharing today? The contract. Okay. What's happened to the contract? Management contract, yeah. What else? Do they have a different kind of like marketing strategy like the branding? Yeah, they have that one. Do they touch about the recycle kind of thing? Sustainability. You have to be familiar with sustainability. Not just only do the production, but you have to know how to sustain your product. how to decide, like purchasing, recycling, and so forth. Okay, yeah. So, all right. Do you have any question, guys, on what we are doing, exercising, sharing this morning? Do you have any questions? Questions?
Well, it's not only related, only sort of. So many hard brands, they underpay their labors, right? So how is the business still run when a lot of people is already aware?
You mean in here?
I mean, I don't want to mention the brand, but like I think that's it. That is the only way. Like for example, Zara. Like I've seen a lot of articles that wrote about what Zara does to its worker. Like they still run and they run big.
Well, they still run because I think
nothing can be done about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, how is it? I mean, in Indonesia, does it also, I mean, the information about that is you guys aware of it?
Most people are aware, and even though they know, they won't stop buying the brand. One small child in a small village will not stop a billion-dollar company.
I think we are not stopping the brand. I mean, we are not stopping to buy the brand. But the brand itself, I think, take some actions to do that because, again, it's going to jeopardize the brand, right? They cannot just ignore it. So what I think is like this, like parallel. We are still buying, but the owner of the brand is trying to fix, the rumors or maybe the issues in the market. But what about you? If you were like a Zara loyal customers, and then you are having the information, getting the information that Zara doing something wrong, are you going to stop buying? Sorry, are you going to stop buying the brand or what?
So much of the brands, yeah, that won't bother me. Like I want to be like I don't even buy Zara stuff a lot. So
no, if you were a Zara loyal customers, but you at the end and then you find out that Zara doing something, are you going? It might affect, right?
Might affect my trust.
It might affect your trust. Good. Okay. Any more questions? No, guys. Okay. All right, so guys, thank you very much. I hope that what we are exercising, you get some of the idea before you are really into the international business issues. So thank you for all the presentation. And then the one at home, do you have any question, guys?
Sorry, miss.
It's okay?
I have some question.
Okay, that's your question. Okay, what is your question?
Okay. How do we enter into the market if there have a lot of competitors? Because I've read in some article that said people we use to do that what they know. Like I always eat at KFC or even McD, and then if I choose another move to another F&B products, it's make me so uncomfortable. How can they live this?
Okay, the competitors, when you are entering the market, no matter what, you have to think about the competition first. You have to know the competitors. Who are the competitors in this case? So you have to know what makes people buy your product, differentiation in this case. Yeah. So you have to keep on to make a difference of your product among the competitors. Competitors, you cannot avoid competition. Maybe 1, 2, 3.
So USP, right?
Unique selling proposition. Yeah. What is the uniqueness of your product that customer will buy, not going to be found in other products? That is the key. And then it has to, you have to evaluate because the competition, the market is different. Okay?
Okay, thank you, miss.
Okay. So thank you so much for the exercise today. And then I think you have a break, little bit like 5 minutes break before that one. If you want to go to the restroom, please do so.
Be 20 minutes, but we'll take 5.
Because bulan already in here, yeah. It's not going to be so, okay? Are you sure that you're not going to go to the left?
Yeah.
Are you going to be here tomorrow, right? You are not going to be here tomorrow, right? It's going to be on Saturday. Online, then? And then next week you have a class again in here. Monday, what time?
I don't know.
It's not specified whether it's on site or online.
Oh, not yet. I thought that the house already knows.
My one, for the Android.
Oh, they changed it. When I checked that.
In Android app, it just says no room. It doesn't say the location. No. Yeah, I don't see.
Just continue without break. No. Let's have a break. So you have a 5 minutes break. Yes, 11:01, 11. 11 coming back. Yes.
That time is wrong.
That's why I'm looking at that one. Okay, so come back 11:10. Yes.
Willy.
Yes.
Mungkin recordingnya bisa di pause dulu, Bu.
Recordingnya.
Nanti mulai lagi.
Oh, ini?
Ada. Pause. Kanan. Yes.
Laptop.
Hang on. Miss Lily is going to copy paste the link.
This is the one I already put in the
Chat box.
Chat box.
Oke, tolong lihat saudara-saudara sebangsa dan setanah ini. Bismillah, hopefully it works.
We can still.
Cannot?
We can type it.
Still, yeah.
Still cannot.
Try actually the thank you technology.
I think there is a.
Can I?
But I can't really do anything.
Okay, they can get their picture, but they cannot add that.
Oh, okay.
Should we go to your Padlet? And then after that, you know what okay, I'm writing here, pasien, jangan kan?
Yes.
Oh, bisa, tidak bisa. You can? Taking it. What did I do? Oh, ini.
Sometimes it's kind of take forever.
You do that? No, this is just for me. Class. Nah, gini aja apa ya? Sit real, ask this one and they can use one. Oh, okay, okay, I'm so sorry. This one. Yeah. Sometimes it happens.
You have to count though, you're.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to have an account.
Oh, you have to log in. Rasanya enggak ya? Oh, mungkin kita mau pakai hours ya. They have to do. You have to make
Lo pakai?
Gmail aja kalau ada.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
You have to do
Yeah.
your Gmail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Log in.
So you have to make your own password. You have to have your own password.
Take your time. Again, this is a reflective and casual session. Nothing is going to be graded. Just like you, we're also learning with the new tech.
Yes, we can add, but we can see it. We can add.
No, you can. Oh, yeah.
It's supposed to be something like that. It should, once you have an account, it should look like that. You can add.
Yeah, there's no plus sign.
There's no plus sign.
Yeah, you have to.
Might take some time.
Go rename.
How many of you yang udah bisa add?
What about the one at home? Do you have any?
Some people.
Yeah, I know how to give us access.
Yeah, yes.
Just
Sorry.
give us access.
Access.
Like access to edit, permission to edit.
Yeah.
Okay. It works for you.
No, unless we make our own copy, like making our own copy of Google Docs, for example.
That's what the remake is.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can you maybe share?
If you can.
Yeah.
Again.
Because you remade it.
Padlet agak lama memang, so it might take some time. If you can, please do so. If you cannot, please don't stress it out. But again, these are the questions that are important. I'm here because, but the real reason is, and how I feel about it. Just in case anybody would like to volunteer.
What?
Anybody? Any volunteer? Strictly confidential to us here. Well, and Zoom people. Not gonna report it to your parents. Whatever your answer is. I'm here because it's close to my house, but the real reason is because my boyfriend is also here. That is absolutely fine. It can be a good motivation.
I can volunteer.
You can volunteer? Okay, please, name please, so I get to know you as well.
Carol. Carol.
Karen, okay.
So I'm here because I want to take over my dad's restaurant and make it international. That's why I chose international business. But the real reason is because I want to have fun and experience another country and study with my friends at the same time. And the way I feel about it is that, like, I would have two birds with one stone.
Excellent, thank you for volunteering. Right. Anybody else? Anybody from the Zoom maybe? Kak Lili.
Gimana?
Can you just see if anyone in the Zoom wants to volunteer? Well, again, if you bump into me in class, you can either call me Miss, because, but I don't really like it because, you know, Miss can be misunderstood, mischievous, misleading, you know. also call me back if you want. I'm Japanese, so I'll definitely go for that. If you call me Mas, I'll get identity confusion, so please don't. So it's also weird to call me Miss, especially when I'm married. So it's misunderstood, right? So that's why I like to call her Kak Lily as well. Kak Lily. But if Kak Lily likes to be called Miss Lily, that's up to her as well. Again, this is a culture that I like being called Kak Panda. It degrades my age by much.
Yeah, I also like it when
I can pretend that I'm still in my 20s or in my 30s even. I'm honest about my age. Anybody would like to take a guess?
43 plus 42.
What about mine?
It's still 20.
What about me?
I would say 44.
Huh?
18?
I know it. Yeah. Thank you very much. You get the
Nah,
age.
itu kelompok kalau dia itu. Waktunya jangan itu. Okay, so moving on then. Let's just move on to the next slides. It's okay. It's okay. The questions that I gave in the Padlet right now does not need to be answered immediately, right? It's an existential question. It's something that you can continue to ask yourself throughout your study here. It's to find meaning. I just had several new students coming in and say, how do I find meaning in life? Wow, you think I have found my meaning in life after all this time and having lived longer than you guys? Those kinds of questions are something that keeps updated over time. You bump into new people, you bump into new experience, you get heartbroken, you fail, you're frustrated, you are depressed because your thesis proposal gets rejected over and over by your supervisor. Itu curcol ya Kak Lily ya? So, I'm also a student, so I can relate with you. Kak Lily just got her freedom, so she can sleep well at night. And I think one of the reasons that we are being assigned to talk about this is because we have gone through this process 3 times, 2.5 times. Surviving schools. Okay, Kali, can we go to the next slide, please? Right, so, no brainer here. Your responsibility is your responsibilities. So we're not going to shift blame to, oh, operations forgot to inform me. Oh, it's not there in BINUS Maya, or, oh, the lecturer did not WhatsApp me. It's, that's not adulting, that's whining. And your responsibility is solely yours. So buat yang bakat-bakat free rider dan sebagainya, kalau bakat-bakat itu do not need to be developed. Yeah. Second one, cluelessness is not a virtue. This is the Google time. There's this thing called Google. The only thing that you cannot ask to Google is, when will I die? As of the rest, Google sort of have the answer. Oh, when will I die and who will I marry? Itu agak susah juga ya nanya dari Google. So don't. As of the rest, it's a free source fountain of knowledge on Google and any other search engine for that matter. Third, lack of self-management is a recipe of disaster. I have seen students, smart, taking things for granted. Last minute, all-nighters, and creating a mess out of themselves. Multitasking is not a skill. Multitasking is screwing up a few things together at the same time. Because instead of doing one thing, and giving your full attention and time and energy to it, you're trying to divide that to several things. So that's why I said multitasking, in times of emergency, but the keyword to emergency is that it only happens sometimes, not all the times. If you're multitasking all the times, check with yourself. Something is wrong with your capacity to self-manage yourself. Boleh next kali ini? Make sure you have access to information and know how to. I mean, our generation is the generation that has to struggle the most. We went through the 80s, the 90s, the 2000-ish, and now the 2010-ish, and now the 2020s. Imagine how many decades that we have to go through. Imagine how many challenges, transitions, informations, technology, adaptations that we have to persevere. So if you find your lecturers in their early 40s, late 40s, struggling with tablets and everything, please understand, we've gone through 5 decades of changes. Dulu kita belajar komputer starting with DOS.
Yes, and then it was 1980s, right? So
DOS is now DOS Sidanya. Goodbye, no longer exists. Now we have Microsoft Word and whatever else that we have. So yeah, I just counted that and I just realized 5 decades. Oh,
Oh, they know right now our age then.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay, and understand the basic principle of manners. Your GPA can get you a good academic performance, but your attitude will be the one that gets you through it all. I think we both have a fair share of smart students with GPA 3.5-ish and the attitude of know-it-all, showing up late, disrespecting or negotiating deadlines, etc. That kind of hubris is not really a good quality that we're looking for in our business.
No, it was me. Oh.
Was me. Okay. Untung terang. Otherwise, I would be like. Okay. And next, self-sufficient. This is university, and this is also the fundamental difference between our culture and the Western culture. Our independency, our self-sufficiencies, our willingness to take risks, our capacity to be able to tell the difference of which one is worth taking risk and which one is the uncalculated risk, which is brings me to the 4th terms. Act according to your chronological age. Can anyone tell me? Maybe someone in Zoom as well. What does it mean? Act according to your chronological age. Mature, yes. You can be 18 or 20 or 45 for God's sake and behave like a 12 and think like a 12. Make decisions like a 17 years old. Uncalculated risk, impulsivity. So those are the kind of things that is not very much adulting. Well, next study. Now, 4 years, you can make it long, you can make it short. It's up to you. You can do it easy, fun, or hard. But for those of you who claim to be perfectionists, let me tell you that perfection is an illusion. No such things happen. Take it from me, who's also currently a student. My supervisor always says, why always you delay to submit your draft? And I said, I'm scared that it's going to be ugly and wrong. And she said, you're a student. You will be wrong and producing ugly draft. Just submit on time. There's no such thing as perfection. And a sad story that I might need to share as well, that just a few months ago, 2 months ago, by the end of the last semester, one of my classmates resigned from our doctoral program because she was unable to attend the proposal defense because she didn't write anything, because she thinks every time she finished writing a draft, it looks bad, according to her. So she delayed it. So, perfection, illusion. Do your best, submit on time. You will always get it one thing or another wrong anyway. But that's the essence of learning. So why bother losing sleep over it? Submit on time. And then next, procrastinations only prolongs your suffering. Why? Why do you want to do that to yourself? If you can get it done in 3 days, or thesis, for example, this is what commonly happen, yeah? If you can get it done in 1 semester, why prolonging it to 2 years? 2 years of suffering, 2 years of getting feedbacks and critics. Remember, one of the survival skills is also about taking critics positively. Nobody likes hearing critics. That's for sure, because it's showing you your flaws. However, think about it. Don't get emotional about it. And you'll see how can you improve from that critic. But do not let it prevent you from getting things done. No one else will suffer except yourself. So if you can move forward, proceed with everything, why suffer longer? And also ask questions, because people don't read your mind. So unless you ask your lecturers questions, even though I'm a clinical psychologist, I'm a professional one, I don't read minds, and I only do it when I'm getting paid, so I don't do it for free. I don't know what's going on in your mind. You're probably thinking, ooh, that's would be nice for lunch. I also have that face, like the RBF, but I'm actually thinking, pizza sounds good. Okay. Lapar ya kali ini. And also, if you need something, I've had this experience, a student who wasn't aware that the mid-exam is 2 days away. Because he said, I don't see the announcement anywhere. It's on BINUS Maya. What is BINUS Maya? And we're like, you're 4th semester and you, oof, blew my mind. And it's like, why, how come nobody tells me? You never ask whether you know BINUS Maya or not. We're not you know, we don't have these, your miracle wishes, and blah, blah, blah. So please communicate. This is also a good way to learn to communicate with others in an adult manner. Sekali, boleh? Yes. More food as an analogy. The world is your oyster. Broaden your interest. One of the things that frustrates me the most is when people does not know about what's going on in the world around them. So, for example, you don't need to understand about the political reasons in details, for example, but you probably needs to know that US is opening for visitors and also Bangkok with certain vaccines, for example. You don't need to know about what happened behind the Taliban conflict, but good to know that embassies are pulling up their expatriates from that country. At least you know something is going on. The rest, for the details, you can always look it up later. But not knowing. And a lot of people, a lot of business students says, "I don't like politics." You don't like politics. And yet you demand to have the right to speak up. This is a democratic country. Karen was volunteering just now because I exercise democracy. If I exercise authoritarian, I would just say, Belle, you present from this slides onwards until finish, no question asked. In authoritarian context, Belle has no right to say no. But in democracy, she will have the opportunity to say, but miss, I don't understand what the topic is about. So if you say you don't want to understand politics, you don't want to be exposed to politics, even your family vacation before the pandemic, most likely using votings. Votings politik nggak? Politik. Jadi, broaden your interest. Don't see things as it is, gitu aja. The mind is like parachute. Yes, once it's open, so difficult to close it down again. And then the next is explore and take calculated risk. I'm not saying that we have to go to my extreme, but back when I was 25, I jumped onto the plane without my mom's consent. I went for a disaster relief to Aceh. Remember the tsunami? So I went there, stayed there for 6 months, and at that time, Aceh was still a conflicted area. So if you follow the quizzes yesterday during FYP, and I said I had guns pointed at me, that actually happened for real in Aceh. Calculated risk, yes, I chose which organizations that I went with. I want to make sure they have safety protocols, etc. And until today, almost 20 years after, that experience is so enriching. It's a life-changing. It teaches me to be grateful because I had no electricity there. I had limited access to clean water there. Barely had anything to eat as well. So when I come back to Jakarta, my mom picked me up and she said, "What do you want?" I said, I want teh botol dingin. Oh, teh botol dingin. We didn't have it. Even when we do, there's no electricity. Angat. Air putih, the water was recently purified, so it tastes like swimming pool water. So all I wanted was ice cold teh botol. So an example of a calculated risk, no need to go to that extreme, although if some of you have the opportunity to do it and want to try to do it, that is also a good and enriching experience. And a philosophical perspective here, just because you don't know doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I had the privilege many times of reviewing exam essays from students who says, not that I know of. And it's very ironic because the things that he or she says doesn't know of are actually one of the most hyped thing out there. So I don't know in which dimension or planet it's been in. Not gonna mention planet Bekasi just in case one of you lives in planet Bekasi. Sorry, planet Bekasi civilians, but yeah. I don't know, it's not acceptable. Duh. Just like I said, the only thing you can ask Google is, when will I die and who will I marry? Google is not very jodoh. But as of the rest, you want to ask about how Rasputin got into the Romanovs dynasty and had so much influence towards Tsarina Alexandra. You want to learn about what was the first invented plane. You want to know about hieroglyph. You want to know about, are Spartans real? Look it up. It's all on Google. Okay, next kali ini. Ngambek. So this is the thing that I usually tell my students as well. If you plan to be apathy, just be a wall. You know, stand still. Don't do anything. Just sit there. Kadang-kadang tembok aja masih suka menabrak ya. Kasihan deh tembok. But walls doesn't need to do anything. Walls doesn't need to think. Doesn't need to have an opinion. Doesn't need to challenge others' idea. Doesn't need to defend their own opinions. Walls have no interest in you. So, if you plan to be happy, there's a lot of example around you. There are walls. Next. 4 years is short. I'm already on my 4th year now with my PhD program. Well, to say that it's short, I didn't realize that I'm finally on my 7th semester, but to say that it's long, yeah, well, it's trying your river all the way up to the 7th semester. Next, please. But if you can keep it short, do not prolong your suffer. Now, how would you strategize? I think I'll invite Kak Lily also later to participate, or Ms. Sanjukta on Zoom to also share on how to participate. So first thing first, freshmen. I have no idea. Okay. Yours. Nah, okay. Freshmen. if you aim for high GPA, first semester is key. Because after that, if you're trying to achieve higher GPA, it's quite a drag. Jadi, aim your best on first semester, and after that, maintain. It's a lot more manageable than setting up for a 2.5. Oh, I'll get to 3 later. Not that simple. There's a system called GPA, cumulative. So that's for freshmen. Be careful about spiral down. Be careful about these illusions of freedom. A lot of people think, yay, free. No teachers to tell me what to do, etc., etc. Yeah, you're free. And that's a good thing if you have a good self-management skills. But if you reflect back and your high school performance does not indicate that, be very careful. Be very, very careful. And then next, sophomore, life gets complicated. Now you want to play hard. Sure, but make sure you work hard because you'll try harder as well. Projects and everything begins to accumulate. Second year is usually the gate to that academic purgatory where you are exposed to all the difficult subjects. And then junior, 3+1 enrichment tracks. You basically have no life. You will choose between internship, study abroad, entrepreneurship, community development, or research track for 1 whole year. And that's going to pretty much occupy you. Now, last but not least, senior year. Just get it over. Remember, don't prolong your suffer. Senior year, test your perseverance. Senior years wants to see whether you can run to the finish line or give up. Because you're tired and you feel you're senior and you think you have time, but you don't. Next.
I think before.
Oh, yes, Tani wants to add something while I drink.
No, I just want to invite Ibu Sanju.
Yes.
Because Ibu Sanju is also one of the faculty member as well in here. Okay.
Is Ibu Sanju here?
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Talia, and for inviting me over. Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to you all for our IB program, this particular session. And I think my colleague Bulan does a fantastic job being both a psychologist and a sociologist. You know, she gives you a great perspective of what basically are the tips and tricks to survive the IB. So my perspective of sharing your IB years is coming from the part that I am an international faculty and I have been with BINUS for last 5 to 6 years. And that has allowed me to closely observe a lot of the students, in Indonesia and Indonesian students, what and how they can do better in the time that they spent in BINUS. And especially when I compare that with the international environment. So when I see students in Australia or students in UK, or maybe in Singapore, where I have studied or worked in the past. So I'm coming from that part of it. So let me begin by saying is that First of all, you have to develop when you work in, when you study in IB is a very international mindset. Okay, so you capitalize on your Indonesian culture, but you need is a global mindset. Because today you're not just going to be in 4 years' time an Indonesian resource. You have the potential to be a global resource. You could be sitting in Indonesia, but for example, you're working for say Google in the US. You are not then just an Indonesian working in Indonesia. Do you get me? So your generation is not kind of limited by the geographical limitations of a place. You don't really have to climb a plane, to become an international person, which is out there. So when you need an international mindset, both as a student and the skills you're developing to become an international professional, they are very distinct compared to a regional skill. So one big advantage is that you're coming to one of the most elite private schools of Indonesia. And even within the private schools, you're coming to one of the most elite programs of, the international undergraduate programs. You're paying almost 4 times the fees of what one would pay otherwise. So how can you make value of it? First is look at the global skills that you need to work upon. Number 1 being linguistic skills. So keep your bahasa close, keep English closer. All right. So it works both ways. You should have a very strong advantage of your mother tongue, but you should also have a very strong advantage of English as a language, which means that what you need to do is your conversational styles, your choice of words, your diction, your vocabulary, your styles of writing. You get a lot of exposure in your assignments, in your works, in your exams, that you do in our IB program, which is out there. Make an extra effort to sharpen your linguistic skills. It can also mean is that, especially for many of you who are looking at the 3rd year, in your junior year, looking to move for international universities of your choice. If you're looking at Germany, do you know basic German? If you're looking at Ningbo in China, can you manage a basic Mandarin? Even if you're going to New Zealand or Australia, can you have a 2nd or a 3rd foreign language skill? So the linguistic skill becomes very, very important in international business program, which is out there, number 1. Number 2 is your international attitude. That works right from your 1st year, right up to your 4th year. So I really love the slide that my colleague Bulan presented. Your grades are very important. As you move up to your 2nd, 3rd, 4th year, it becomes more harder. 1st year is the easiest to score a high GPA. Now, I personally have a slight difference of opinion out here, despite being an academic. I don't believe that one needs to score a perfect GPA to survive a business school, or you need a GPA of 3.8, 3.9. Yeah, because you're in a business school, you need a lot of other skills. You could use that time. You can aim yourself to say, okay, I'm going to fix myself on a GPA of anything between 2.9 to 3.4, 3.5. But in the rest of it, I'm going to really come up with something unique. Can you start a business? Can you trade on the stock market? What are those other skills at the time that you're using? Because studying in a business school needs both theoretical as well as practical experiences, which is out there. And they all need to start showing on your resume from your 3rd year onwards, whether you're going for your internships or you're going for international universities, and definitely in the final year when you're starting to seek your job employment. Do not rest on the idea that your families have business families and you could easily join that. That would be very foolish decision, isn't it? If you have a business family, you can always join the family back. Can you make yourself gainfully employed through your skills and learnings in a business school in a non-family environment, which is out there? So That is where your soft skills become very, very important, which is out there. These are a whole set of professional skills. I also give you a very strong advice. You will find a whole lot of your activities or assignments are group based. Many a time students, they stick with the same group because they have comfort. So I know a friend and I have the same set of friend I'm working with the group for assignment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is not how it works in the real life. You may be working with one set of colleagues today, tomorrow you may have to work with colleagues you just don't like at all. So your soft skills get tested maximum when you work in difficult environment. Yeah. The third thing is you don't have to be donkey in group assignments, especially that you work with. And that happens a lot. You're very good. And suddenly you are in a team where others are not working. So you tell them, don't work. I will work and I will do the assignment. I will get the grades. And you feel very proud of yourself about that. The idea is you don't have to be the donkey. The idea is you have to be the leader and the manager. Can you get the others to work? Even if you don't get an A minus, you still get a B plus. But remember, you didn't do the job alone. You made other people motivate, you made other people participate and do the work out, which is out there. Yeah. And most importantly, I leave you with a note. Don't forget to have fun. Learn to crack jokes, learn to have social skills, which is very, very important in modern times, which is out there. You can be a super duper A-star kind of a student. Really, trust me, when you come in the real world, nobody cares about it. So I rather be in the mid zone, have a holistic participation in my university life, join the debate clubs, join the different participation platforms that you get as a part of your of the IB part of it. Fall in love, go out, explore the world. So sharpen yourself in a very holistic part of it, which is out there. Look for role models who are both international as well as in your circle. Look at LinkedIn. So Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram will be very important to socialize and network. But the most important will be LinkedIn. See yourself in 4 years' time, what you want to put up on the LinkedIn account. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, open it. You don't have to start adding things which is out there. Yeah. And most importantly, try to see, can you earn a living as an 18-year-old by yourself in these 4 years? Start some small business, start some small, because it's a business school that you are out there. So those would be my very practical to the boot tips for you guys for all the 4 years that you have. And I wish you all the very best and see you all soon. Thank you, Lily.
Okay, thank you, Sanju. So you already heard from Sanju as well as Bulan. Yes, I think that's true. Yeah, when I had an experience in the class, that when I asked you guys to have a group, right? And then you always have the same person in the group. And I don't really like that one, because you have to try to go out with maybe different kind of like, what is it, your classmate in the group. Because again, sometimes I also assign that you have to be in the group that different from your previous group. Because again, when you are in the real life, sometimes you cannot choose your teamwork, and you have to get the work done. And then this is the time basically when you are still in the university, in the class, that you have to have been able to adapt with the new situation, with the new maybe character of your team. Yeah. So again, this is something that you have to experience. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that we are mean in here, but you have to experience that one. And again, here the faculty, I guess, in here in BINUS would like to support you. Yeah. So if you don't know about something, we are very happy to assist in it. But it doesn't mean that every single time that you have to ask us, but you have to do some research as well. You have to explore as well. We are very open for the discussion. Okay. So I believe that the 4 years you can achieve for the 4 years. If from the very start, you take it seriously. I met a lot of students at the very beginning that they are kind of like, oh, having the freedom, a little bit lazy. And what happened? They cannot finish in the 4 years time. So in the very beginning, the first semester is a key, I think, in here. Yeah, you have to have a good grade. You have to achieve a good grade. So in the second semester and forward, you are able to maintain a very good GPA. Okay, so that's a little, very short word from me. Ibu Ulan, next.
You sure we're not me? I don't know about me. Okay, we still have a few more slides. I think we can just skip this because that's for you to reflect. You've seen what were the challenges in first, second, third, and fourth years. It's up to you to strategize which one that you want to put most efforts. Well, all of it, you need to put efforts, but manage your energy. Okay, and just to remind you of some of the code of conduct in BINUS International. Cardinal rules number 1, do not cheat. We've said goodbyes to students for cheating an exam, for plagiarism. So we appreciate efforts. We appreciate your honesty and integrity, but cheating, bye-bye. Also, what is it? Don't break, don't bend, don't try to find your way around it. Eventually, we'll find out. There's Turnitin, there are many things that we can try to figure out whether you're cheating or not. Just, do your best. This sounds cliche, but do your best, do it on your own. And stay safe in the campus. Stay in the campus. And this is also part of the adulting. Have your moral compass straight. We don't judge people for having opinions, for being different, for being outliers, etc. But the moment you show a compromise integrity, we do judge. We would question your quality as a person, as an individual. To what extent can you be trusted? Everything that you will do from today on will be a business of trust. A business of trust between you and your teammates, a business trust between you and your lecturers, a business trust between you and the university as an institution, a business trust between you and your parents. Everything's going to be a business trust. So, moral compass straight if you don't want people to judge. You want to wear feather shawl to campus, we don't judge. You want to change your hair colors every day, we don't judge. I've had a unicorn attending my class once. Literally in a unicorn costume. I was like, welcome aboard. I see the unicorn in my real life eventually. Again, we don't judge. But the moment we find out that you are compromising your values, our values, BINUSian values, then it's a whole different. Next, Kali. Keep your friends close and closer. Let's try to go through the pathway of 4 years in peace, but choose wisely. Your friends are the one who's going to bring you up or spiraling you down. And in case you need a reminder, it's really fine to say no to whatever it is, especially when deadline is approaching, when projects are overwhelming, when they ask you to do something that you know would get you into trouble because good friends don't do that. And even when you're not feeling it, it's okay to just say no. I just wanna be home, binge watch, don't wanna go out or get drunk or whatever. It's okay to say that, to say no. Next, Kalini. One of the problems that we've seen happening and we feel, oh, this needs a highlight as well, heartbreaks. And we've seen students who spiral down because of heartbreaks, because unsuccessful love story, unrequited love, name it, whatever pains you emotionally. So, not saying that get over your heartbreak, go find another one. No, well, love hurts, it does. So it's okay to wallow a bit. It's okay to take time to be mellow, to cry it out, to eat your feelings, order 3 stacks of Dominoes or eat 400 grams of steak if you are that hardcore. And get back to life. Pain takes time to heal. So grieve if you must. This is not just a case of heartbreak between boyfriend, girlfriends, lovers, etc. Many times it's also heartbreak because of loss of loved ones, death of parents, siblings, close friends, etc. So grief can come in many forms, and when you do, all human beings are usually have our own natural coping mechanism to deal with it. But if you think you need help, 204, make an appointment. You'll get to see me or my other fellow counselor. Then we'll talk about it. Strictly confidential. Don't worry, soulmates and deaths are the same. You will arrive in time. In time, when it's supposed to happen, it will happen. So don't worry. Tapi the love of my life, ya, kalau putus ya nggak jodoh namanya. Right, next. Okay, pick your battle. So 3 things that you need to pay attention here. Know your lecturers, the good cops and the scary ones. So if Kali says, we're not mean, we are mean. Say that. I was just asking her, you sure we're not mean? She just clarified that. No, of course, we don't yell at you, but we do give hard critics, because how else can we stretch you to your maximum capacity? And stretching hurts kan ya? If you exercise gitu suruh stretching, if it's not painful yet, you're not stretching yet. And have the antidotes for the killer ones. Usually they like anticipations. So don't come to class empty-handed if you know that he or she is going to slay you with assignments, sudden death quizzes, etc. Then always come prepared. Check the BINUS Maya, what's going to happen next, what's the next chapter that he or she will be talking about, ask questions. Usually that works with the killer ones. So that's how you prepare your bulletproof Kevlar vest. Again, too often your answers you don't get it right the first time. But we like it already because we volunteer, even though it's a wrong answer. But we like it already. Instead of you trying to say, I don't know. That's painful to hear. But if you're trying to say something, it may not be the right one, but we are going to appreciate the effort. And it will save you from our bullets. Next. Sounds like I want to have a life. Well, depends. I've always find a way, including Jurassic Park. So management is key. That includes how you regulate yourself, how you regulate your time, how you regulate your love life. Next step. Again, as a reminder, you are not superhero. You cannot do multitasking. So don't try to do everything at the same time, or you'll be screwing up the many things at the same time as well. Next. Okay. Okay. Next. Next. I was like, no questions? Great. But instead of questions, thoughts and comments, more than welcome. Probably folks in Zoom. This is weird.
You cannot see if we want it, and then we stop share.
Okay.
And then after that,
Oh my God, thank God for the mask, otherwise I look very stupid on camera. Thoughts, comments, please. Anything. Remember, bulletproof, Kevlar.
Miss, can I ask?
Yes. Yes, who that?
It's Calvin.
Hey, Calvin. Calvin Gibran.
Yes.
Okay, silakan, Calvin. Oh, hi. Oh, okay. Hi, Calvin. Yes, what do you have to say?
I want to ask, is it okay if we have a FOMO feeling? I mean, like fear of missing out feeling, so that we have to do like all our targets during our 4 years. Like we have to do everything. Is it okay or no?
Depends. I'm proud of myself that I understand what FOMO means. Depends, Calvin. If you fear on missing out on things that would be benefiting for you in many years to come, then you should be afraid. Like, for example, if you think you will not pass 1 or 2 subjects in a particular semester, FOMO will come handy. But if your friends is having a housewarming party for his or her new apartment just a day before quiz, and you're having FOMO, that's questionable. If you have studied for your quiz and confident about it, go ahead, just come home sober for the quiz. But if you're not ready for the quiz, then you need to get your priorities straight. I should be looking to that camera, but I'm talking. I hope I am entertaining you guys. I hope that clarifies everything, Calvin.
Okay, thank you, Miss.
You're welcome. Any other comments, thoughts, questions? I think everybody's hungry.
Yeah. What is your opinion about the uni life? Is it going to be different with your SMA or high school?
So different a bit, I think. But not so different in the study-wise, I think, that it'll be more or less the same. But with friends, it'll be different, I think. And maybe more project, like more practical compared to high school. There's still theory, yeah, but more practical. Although I wish we could choose our class timing. So it still feels like high school, but you can't choose the timing of your classes.
Yeah, I think that also applies to us. Yeah, we don't get to choose the classes that we're teaching as well. So, c'est la vie. But in my classes, even I teach character building, for example. A week before the class, I usually, or a week or a few days before classes, I usually give you short journals. Because journals is something that you probably didn't get the opportunity to learn to read in high school, but in university, there's definitely going to use a lot of journals, articles, not just textbook. And I just love to see what you can come up with your readings from the journals. Sometimes I am the one is enjoying the discussions because, you know, when you get the great students discussing these ideas and everything, sometimes they're provoking each other, contrasting each other. And I love that because that's academic life and nobody gets judged for their opinion, again, because they're trying. And know that this is an academic forum. Nothing is too sensitive to be talked about here. We do not encourage the use of apa itu namanya, harsh words, cursing words, etc. There's terms for it and I forgot.
Curse words. Swears?
Swear? No, there's a, this is what you get when you're trying to be proper. You forget.
Inappropriate, inappropriate, improper. Explicit.
You can try do one in Zoom.
Nothing.
Vulgar.
What? Profanity. That's the word I was looking for. It's like, see, the moment you're trying to be proper, you forgot. So no profanities. Nobody is saying that, oh, your opinion is stupid, nothing like that. But you can disagree, of course, by saying, that sounds like a legit argument. However, I have to disagree with you because I think of blah, 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 blah. So prepare for that. Also for you Zoom folks. Yeah, prepare for that. There's no right or wrong. Everybody is more than allowed to have their opinions, but you know, just make sure that it comes with the right backup. Cuma yang not that I know of. Well, there's a lot of things that we don't know of. All right, I think that's about it for me. Ms. Kali, would you like to do a closing? Closing.
Okay, thank you very much, Bulan, as well as Sanju, and also for students in here in the class, as well as the one in the Zoom. We do hope that what we are sharing with you today, the adulthood in the campus, give you some of the thinking that you might probably have to change a little bit from the senior high school to the uni life. Yeah. But again, we are here for you, but you have to, be mature, actually. Yeah. So what's the Bulan said that, well, we are very open to discuss, but you have to have something to back up you when you are giving your opinion. Okay, again, one more time, do you still have any questions? No? I think we can end the session. Again, we thank you very much for